That's what you have to do to take P1 in the European Talent Cup. Rounding out your top 20 is Osorio and Mikey Luis Sanchez, with Alex Longarella going for P21. Your championship leader, Fernando Barrosa in P22, with Gabarini and Ramadhipa on row 8. Mario Landa, Almeida and are about to appear on for European Talent Cup race 1. The red lights are on now. And we do go racing. It's a great start for Pratelli from the front row of the grid, from 3rd place, as he looks to take the lead on the run to turn 1. How will that hold, though, on the braking zone 2, turn 1 now? Karpushin as well put himself into potential podium positions. Carlos Cano already getting his elbows out on the run to turn 1. The launch of the move now is the rest of the field. Alvaro Lucas losing a little bit of ground himself as he slots in just ahead of Ethan Sparks. But it's the 67 of Pratelli that leads the way. Tassini slots into 2nd and Borelli in 3rd.
I was just checking Barrosa's progress. He's already up to 11th. A superb start for the number 69. The perfect start that he could have asked for. As for Pratelli as well, exactly what he needed to get off the line and into P1. Cano down to P5.
Nice and clean for the entire field. Of course, your 2025 NTC champion. He was briefly inside the top 5, soon to be pushed back as Barrosa launches a move down the inside. He's in a
perfect start considering the circumstances for him, right in the mix of the lead group. Cano defending from Barrosa, it looked like, through the final corner. We will see now whether Barrosa decides to take that long lap now or try and build a gap to the pack behind and come out further ahead, if you like.
Yeah, and a lot of shuffling now being done as they cross the line. You can see in the TV that was your crasher over at turn 5 on the opening lap, but confirmation of that fall for the number 9. As now moves beginning to be made, Almeida was on one of our followers at turn 10. But some real key moves being made. That was Finn Krekaville making moves as Carlos Cano looks to also working his way in the order into P8.
Just a note on Barrosa, after that long lap, he has rejoined in P10, around a 2nd off the lead. He's at the back of the lead group, so if he did serve it correctly, it has worked out fairly well for the number 69.
Yeah, of course. I'm sure Race Direction will have a double check at that and make sure that everything was served. Right as looking up the inside is Alvaro Lucas. Can he hold on to the lead? No, he cannot, because it's Pratelli from the outside who slips round on the normal racing line. Borelli still sitting in 2nd, as there is Fernando on Ethan Sparks. As now we do continue on. 10 laps do remain in the action. Karpushin getting moved back a few more positions, and that's now Alvaro Lucas ahead of him. Now number 51 of Dakigan just ahead as well, as Carlos Cano is back, as we do have a follower down there, and we wait to see exactly who that is. Yellow flags, of course, out at turn 7, losing the front on the entry to things. And Fernando Barrosa's name we speak about. This is one of the deciding races in the championship.
It absolutely will be spoken about by the riders and everyone in this paddock, given what's happened. The drama from yesterday afternoon, yesterday evening with the penalties, Barrosa's amazing start, the long lap, and then the crash. It will be a defining weekend in this year's title fight.
Well, yeah, exactly. We were just looking back at how Barrosa was able to make up so much moves on the opening lap, and then sadly for him, everything unfolded. Borelli now back up into the podium places. He pushes and 11 as Pratelli does begin to drop down the order. There's confirmation of his fall. Definitely not what he'd be hoping for in this one. And actually, Sanchez also dropping down the order too.
Yeah, it looks like it was Mikey Luis Sanchez and Pratelli. Yeah, we had confirmation of the number 55 being involved in that crash at turn 10. A shame for both of them, as they were enjoying very strong races. We see Borelli look like he was going to try and move from P1, but decided it's Ramadhipa now who leads the field, and Cano has dropped down to P.
Here it's been for him, of course. Took his first win over at Magny Cours of the season, and what a victory it was. He's shown that he can be aggressive on this last lap, as has Alvaro Lucas, as he goes back up the inside at turn 10. Longarella sitting in podium position, sitting in 3rd place, and of course these little incidents, these collisions are putting less and less riders in this group, therefore there's less people for you to get mixed up in. But Lucas running wide, and now he drops down to P3, promoting the likes of Ramadhipa back into the lead, and Longarella back into 2nd.
We spoke about penalties for Barrosa and Longarella, but also Ramadhipa was given the back of the grid start, so he's now fought his way perhaps a bit under the radar to take the lead of this race with 4 laps to go. Unlikely he's going to hold that on this long run into turn 1 with the slipstream that his rivals will get, as Carlos Cano once again taking the normal racing line, although we see the number 51 of Daquan also take that line, but it's Borelli who holds P1 on the entry into turn 1.
Yeah, great turn one. Not nice and smooth, but nice and hard, and certainly for him, losing a little bit of ground. What can we do, though, on these final 2 laps? It's certainly building to be a showstopper in the European Talent Cup. Will it be Kiandra? Will it be Ramadhipa? Could it even be Tassini? We're going to have to wait and find out as Ramadhipa hits the front.
Ramadhipa hitting the front at turn 1. We've seen him be at the front of the field throughout this race, despite that penalty that he was given. It's a remarkable comeback for the number.
Yeah, and certainly Carlos Cano's father watching on with a little bit of tension. I think it's fair to say, watch his son do battle out on circuit. Currently, Cano showing his 4th for the timing screens, but sitting around 6th or 7th position out on circuit. A big moment there for the number 51. Cano's going to take advantage of that as Longarella also looks up the inside at turn 5. It's full on elbows out action. Nobody taking anyone from prisoners for this one. Karpushim up into 2nd as well. He's gone under the radar after fighting his way from about 5th or 6th position.
He has gone under the radar, but now, as we said before, last couple of laps, this is the time to get in position to make the move on that final lap. We see Lucas having a potential look at turn 9. Doesn't look like he made the move sick. Carlos Cano on the run into turn 10 will probably need to get ahead of Tassini here. He goes up the inside, under braking, sliding his way in, and again, very close to the number 4 there.
Very close at turn 10. Lines merging into one yet again. And Longarella, he does slot back into 3rd. He does wait a little bit longer. This is the dress rehearsal, and it is now over. It's all time. It's time for elbows out action at the front of things for the European Talent Cup. Remember, the sole race of the weekend. 25 points here in Barcelona before 25 points up for grabs in Valencia. The championship looks to be going to the final round. And well, what better way to decide this race than a last lap thriller? Ramadhipa leads over the line. They head towards turn 1 yet again. But Carlos Cano, the number 1, is on the attack. Watch for Alvaro Lucas as well on the 46 CF motor machine. Now tipping into turn 1 it is Carlos Cano who leads the way. Leading out of turn 1, he'll be vulnerable down into turn 5. You would think the field will close up on him, and if he remains in P1 into turn 10 especially, but Cano will want to be out in front. He'll look to try and build a gap. Maybe he can work with Ramadhipa. We'll see what happens. Oh, there's a bit of contact between Ramadhipa and Borg there. Yeah, Travis Borg there, a little bit of contact between himself and will look to be Alvaro Lucas actually out on circuit. Ramadhipa running nice and comfortable at the moment in P2. But Carlos Cano at the front of things. Has he waited for the perfect moment to pull the pin? At the moment, he's looking nice and strong, but it's all going to be on what sort of advantage he has on the run to turn 10. At the last sector point, he was a 10th and a half clear of Ramadhipa. That's going to close out through turns 9 and 10. Potentially not enough to be short of P1 on the exit, but it will be close. Will anyone go on the green on the last lap? A couple of riders look like they touched the green, so something to keep an eye out for potential penalties. The inside line Cano has. He launches a move up the attack at turn 10, and he has made it work on Ramadhipa. Alvaro Lucas also making some moves, and that looks to be a few mistakes further down the order, so not what he'd be hoping for at all as we do continue on at the front of things. Borelli now back down to P8, P9 after that error. But Carlos Cano, 2 corners now remain. Will it be himself or Ramadhipa? Could it be a last corner move? The 32 looks up the inside, but Cano swoops round, and it is going to be Carlos Cano who takes victory, or will it be? It's a drag race, it's a photo finish at the line, and we await to see on the timing screens who is it going to be. Ramadhipa showing 7,000ths of a second. Carlos Cano, 2nd place for himself, but a massive day in the championship. Ramadhipa to these riders, but what a final corner, what a final run to the line that was for Ramadhipa. But let's look at the run to the line. It was Cano who led, but Ramadhipa, well, fully tucked in underneath the screen, nearly contact between the 2 of them. And it was a drag race all the way to the flag. And then, as you can see, that's what 7,000ths of a second looks like for